Taehyung scolded. The rain has started pouring around noon, loud enough to drown out the murmur in the office halls of Jungkook operation, but not loud enough to cover up the sound of Taehyung's vomiting quietly in the restroom stall. His hands trembled as he clenched the cold sink, looking at the pale reflection in the mirror. Taehyung, it's fine. I just had to push a little more. He wiped his mouth with the tissue and splashed cold water on his face. The nuisance was getting worse today, and the morning sickness has lasted far beyond the morning. But he couldn't go home, not when his husband, the cold and unreadable CEO Jungkook, had just handed him an urgent presentation to complete within the next 6 hours, even though it wasn't originally his project, even though it wasn't supposed to be his job at all, even though he was. And at this point, Taehyung wasn't even sure if Jungkook would care. Taehyung had been working in strategy department of Jungkook's corporation for over a year now, long enough to know the cutthroat pace, but short enough that his pregnancy was still his secret. Marrying Jungkook had been unexpected. It was a quiet arranged marriage set up between their families for business. Jungkook had agreed without blinking. Taehyung had hoped it might become something more. It didn't. In the sleek office of room on the top floor, Jungkook sat behind the glass door, desk typing coldly, his jaw sharp and tense. His sleeves were black, shirt rolled up and enough to show the veins in his forearms. He didn't even look up when his assistant knocked. Assistant, sir. Taehyung hasn't taken his lunch also. He looked a bit pale. Jungkook, I didn't ask for a health update. I asked for results. The assistant got up and nodded, backing out. Back at the desk downstairs, Taehyung sighed as he looked at the slides on his screen, blinking to clear the fog in his vision. His stomach hurt. He hadn't eaten. His body screamed for rest, but he had to prove himself not just as an employee, not just as a husband who was never kissed or held, but as Taehyung, someone who mattered. Hours passed, the office emptied. It was 9:30 p.m. Taehyung finally walked into Jungkook's office, laptop in hand. Taehyung, here is the final presentation. Jungkook see. Jungkook didn't look up. Jungkook put it on the table. Taehyung, I reserved the figures. The project and updated the risk you asked about. No response, just typing. Taehyung cleared his throat, standing awkwardly. Taehyung, I haven't eaten all day. Jungkook, you had work, so did I. Taehyung's throat closed up, the sting behind. His eyes blurred. He wanted to scream, I'm carrying your child. He wanted to throw the file and cry. He wanted to collapse into Jungkook's chest and be told everything, but instead he bowed. Taehyung, I will see you at home. Later that night, Taehyung returned to their massive penthouse apartment alone. The lights were off. Jungkook had stayed at the office. Taehyung opened the fridge, trying to find something to eat, but the moment he smelled cold chicken soup, his stomach flipped and he ran to the sink, gagging. He cried silently, his hand on his belly. Taehyung, you deserve better, little one. The next morning, the nation didn't stop, neither did the exhaustion, but Taehyung pushed himself against shower, dressed, walked into the office like it wasn't falling apart until halfway through the morning meeting, his vision blurred. He stood up, tried to say something and collapsed. Black emergency room. Taehyung blinked the hospital ceiling slowly coming into the view. IV in his hand, monitor beeping softly. A nurse checked his blood pressure. Nurse, you fainted due to stress and dehydration. You need rest. You're pregnant. You're pregnant. For God's sake, Taehyung looked away. Taehyung, can you tell not tell my emergency contact. The nurse frowned. Nurse, it's your husband. He should know. Taehyung, please. Back at office, Jungkook tapped his pen against his desk. Irritated where the heck was Taehyung, he checked his phone. No text, no calls. For some reason, a strange worry pulled at his chest. He stood up, heart suddenly pounding, and that's when his assistant rushed in. Assistant, Sir, Taehyung collapsed. He is at Seoul Medical. Jungkook's world stopped. Hospital room, the door burst open. Jungkook stood in the doorway, fainting, eyes wide and filled with something Taehyung hadn't seen in a long time. Panic, Jungkook, what the heck happened? Taehyung turned his face away. Taehyung, it's nothing. Jungkook's trauma and gripping the edge of the bed. Cook, nothing. You fainted. You look like you say something, Taehyung, because you wouldn't care. The silence was loud. Jungkook flinched. Taehyung, you gave me work. That wasn't mine. Ignored me. I am not even a husband to you. I am just decoration. Jungkook, Taehyung, I'm pregnant. Jungkook, Taehyung, 8 weeks. Jungkook's legs nearly gave out. Jungkook, why didn't you tell me earlier? Taehyung, would it have mattered? Jungkook took a step closer, but Taehyung turned away. Taehyung, please leave. Jungkook, Taehyung, just go. Later that night, Jungkook stood outside the hospital, rain soaking through his suit. He looked at the sky, whispering to himself, Jungkook, what have I done? Back at the hospital bed, Taehyung held his belly, silently crying. Jungkook's office the next morning, the air was heavy. Jungkook sat in leather chair, hands stippled under the chin, his eyes fixed on the untouched coffee cup in front of him. He hasn't slept, not even for a second. His mind replayed Taehyung's voice on loop. I'm pregnant. Would it have mattered? Please leave. Jungkook clenched his jaw, his chest tightened in a way it never had before. He hadn't meant to be cruel. He thought he was keeping things professional, maintaining boundaries. What that's what a CEO does. That's what a man like him does. But somewhere in the process, he had completely forgotten Taehyung was more than just his employee. He was his husband. He was carrying his child, and Jungkook had failed them both. Hospital, Taehyung's room. Taehyung woke up with the nurse gently adjusting his IV. Taehyung, I'm fine, nurse. You are not. You have been under stress, skipping meals, vomiting daily. If you don't take care of yourself, you could risk the baby. Taehyung said softened. Taehyung, I want the baby to be okay, nurse. Then stop pretending you are okay. The nurse gave him a small smile and placed a tray of light food beside him. Nurse, eat, rest, and don't let that cold CEO get to you. Taehyung gave a faint smile. If only it were that easy. Flashback 2 months ago, the night of the pregnancy test. Taehyung stared at the two pink lines on the stick in disbelief. Taehyung, positive. He had sat there alone in the washroom, tears in his eyes, not of fear but of hope, of something new, of a dream he hadn't allowed himself to have with Jungkook. He imagined a tiny version of them, big eyes, soft brown curls, a giggle echoes through their silent apartment. But JK Corporation conference room, Jungkook called an emergency meeting with the board. His eyes were sharp, movements swift, but his mind wasn't fully there. Manager Lee saw Taehyung was handling the sole expansion page. Should be Jungkook would know. Everyone turned quiet. Jungkook, no one touches Taehyung's work. Pause all the major assignments. Give him paid leave for next 3 weeks. Manager Lee, but sir, Jungkook, that's final. He stood up, grabbing his coat. Jungkook, I'm leaving early. Hospital parking lot. Jungkook parked outside the hospital again, this time with a box in his hand. He had packed Taehyung's favorite snacks, banana milk, warm strawberry buns, even the chocolate chips cookies from tiny bakery Taehyung secretly loved. He looked at, took a deep breath, his palms were sweating. Jungkook just talked to him, apologized. Taehyung's room, knock knock. Taehyung opened his eyes, expecting the nurse, but froze. Jungkook, I brought this for you. Taehyung, why are you here? Jungkook, to see you, to talk. Taehyung, didn't you say you had work? Or was this another you had a task moment? Jungkook winced. He placed the tray on the table and sat beside the bed. Jungkook, I messed up. Taehyung, that's an understatement. Jungkook, I didn't know you were pregnant. Taehyung, you didn't see me. Jungkook, that's worse. The room went silent. Taehyung, you married me and treated me like I was just there. You never asked how I was, never cared when I got sick. You barely spoke to me unless it was work related. And when I fainted, when I thought I might lose the baby, you showed up like you suddenly remember I exist. Jungkook, that's not true. Taehyung, it is, and it hurts. Jungkook's eyes dropped to the floor. Jungkook, I didn't know how to be close to someone not in this agreement. I thought staying distance would keep things simple. Jungkook, because I wanted to, even if I couldn't admit it then. Taehyung laughed bitterly. Taehyung, you are saying that now? Jungkook, I am saying that because I almost lost you and our child. Taehyung, turn away. Taehyung, you are late. Jungkook, you are always late. That night, Taehyung stared at the small packet of cookies. Jungkook left. His fingers trembled slightly as he unpacked one. It tasted just like he remembered, but it didn't fix anything. Still, his heart softened, even if just a little. House. Days later, Taehyung was discharged after 3 days. Jungkook was there with the car, gently helping him into the passenger seat. Jungkook, can you stay in main bedroom? I will move to the guest room. Taehyung, I don't need your pity. Jungkook, it's not pity, it's responsibility. Taehyung, we are not a charity case. Jungkook, you are my family. That word hung in the air like a ghost. Family. Taehyung didn't answer. When they got home, Jungkook set up everything for Taehyung. Extra pillows, heating pads, warm meals. The fridge was still filled with pregnancy food, safe food. Even the TV remote was placed closer to the bed, but Taehyung stayed distant, quiet. Jungkook didn't push. He was slowly learning that fixing this wasn't going to happen in one night. 1 week later, Taehyung's morning sickness has gotten worse. He vomited again and clenched his stomach, tears streaming down his cheeks. Suddenly, a warm hand touches his back. Jungkook breathed. Tae, I'm here. Taehyung blinked. Jungkook knelt beside him, holding a wet towel, gently wiping his mouth. Jungkook, you're okay? I have got you. Taehyung stared at him, breathless. Taehyung, you are up early? Jungkook didn't sleep, I heard you. Taehyung's lips trembled. He didn't pull away when Jungkook placed a hand on his belly. Jungkook, is the baby okay? Taehyung nodded weakly. For the first time, he saw something raw in Jungkook's eyes, guilt, fear, love, but his heart still latched. Taehyung, don't pretend to care when it's convenient. Jungkook looks pained. Jungkook, I'm not pretending anymore. 1 week later, penthouse kitchen. Taehyung sat at the dining table, hands wrapped around a cup of warm lemon tea. The early morning light cast soft shadows through the window. Early morning light cast soft shadow through the window, but nothing about the atmosphere felt calm. His gaze wandered to the empty seat across from him, Taehyung murmuring, "Still not home. Jungkook hadn't came home last night again, and even though it was supposed to mean nothing to Taehyung, it did. He sipped his tea slowly, the silence of the house pressing against his ear like whips. It felt like the walls were closing to in on him. He placed a hand on his belly, saying, "It's just us, baby," like always. Flashback the night before. After their brief moment of closeness, Jungkook holds his back as he vomits, wiping his mouth. Sitting quietly, Taehyung had laid himself. Jungkook's office midnight. The city lights glisten glow as Jungkook stands out of office window, his hands shoved deep into his coat pockets. His reflection on the glass looked exhausted, haunted, and hated himself for walking out again. But he didn't know what to do. Being near Taehyung, his pain, his cold glass, the way he flinched at the touch, it all acted deeper than any business deal gone wrong. He pulled out his phone and hovered over Taehyung's name, didn't call, didn't text, just stare. Because deep down, Jungkook knew he didn't deserve forgiveness. Later that day, Penthouse living room, Taehyung was sitting on the couch, flipping through a pregnancy guide. When the door finally opened, he didn't even look up. Jungkook stepped in, hesitating as he got off the shoes. Jungkook came home, silence. Jungkook, Taehyung. You didn't have to announce it like you are a stranger. This is your house, Jungkook. It's your house too, is it? You live like a guest. Stay away like a stranger. Jungkook dropped his keys on the table and walked towards him slowly. Jungkook, I didn't wanted to make you uncomfortable. Taehyung, mission accomplished. Jungkook, please don't do this. I'm trying. Taehyung, sharply trying. You disappear the moment things get heavy. You leave me when I need you most. Even every single time. Jungkook looked down. Taehyung, you didn't even look back when you left that night, Jungkook, because if I looked back, I wouldn't have left. The silence. Taehyung, for a moment. Taehyung, then why didn't you stay? Jungkook, because I was scared. Silence. The room felt suddenly heavy. Taehyung, of what? Jungkook softly, of failing you, of being the reason you cry every night, of hurting the only person who makes the cold life of mine feel like it has meaning. Taehyung stared at him for once. Jungkook's eyes weren't guarded, they were bare, full of torment. Jungkook, I don't know how to love properly. My parents, they were always at war. I grew up learning that distance is safety, that love only leads to loss. He sat down across from Taehyung, Jungkook, but then you came, bright, kind, gentle, and made everything feel dangerous. Taehyung, dangerous. Jungkook, because you made me want more and I didn't know how to handle it, so I pushed you away. Taehyung started tighten his heart so angry for weeks, trembled, but he didn't forgive. Not yet, Taehyung, so you pushed me away until I collapsed. Until I had to carry this pregnancy alone. Jungkook, I will never forgive myself for that, but I want to fix it. I want to try. Even if I have to learn everything from scratch. Taehyung. And even what if I say it's too late? Jungkook's voice cracked. Jungkook, then I will wait. Even if you never came back to me, I will still wait. Nightfall, Taehyung's bedroom. Taehyung lay in the bed staring at the ceiling, his chest ached from holding back emotions. He didn't know what hurt more, the way Jungkook had left him or the way he was now trying so hard to stay. Taehyung whispered to his room. Taehyung, Why couldn't you love me before I broke? 1 week later, parental checkup. Jungkook insisted on coming. Taehyung didn't say no, but it didn't say yes either. He just let him come along at the clinic. Jungkook held his breath. The doctor moved the device across Taehyung's belly. The heartbeat, the sound of the baby's tiny heartbeat echoes through the room like a soft drum. Taehyung's lips parted. Jungkook's eyes filled with tears. He turned his head, trying to hide it, but Taehyung saw the trembling his hands, the crack in doctor. The baby is healthy. A strong heartbeat. Congratulations, Taehyung nodded, but it was Jungkook who whispered first. Jungkook, thank you for keeping the baby even when I didn't deserve it. Taehyung didn't answer, but didn't pull away when Jungkook gently took his hand. That night, shared dinner table for the first time in weeks. They ate dinner together silently. Slowly, Jungkook served Taehyung's plate first, gave him the soft rice, poured him water, made sure the soup wasn't too hot. Taehyung watched, and for the first time, his anger didn't shout. It whispered that maybe there was still something to hold on to. Jungkook, do you feel the baby yet? Sometimes it's like bubbles or fluttering wings. Jungkook smiles faintly. Jungkook, I want to feel it when you are ready. Taehyung's heart. Taehyung, no, not now. Jungkook rushed in from kitchen, dropping the mug he held. Jungkook, Taehyung, what's wrong? Taehyung, winching, stomach cramp. Jungkook didn't wait. He swooped in, lifting Taehyung into his arm, heart racing. Taehyung, I can't walk. I can walk, Jungkook. You wouldn't, not when you are hurting. He carried him to the couch and knelt down beside him. Jungkook, where does it hurt? Taehyung, breathless, left side, but it's fading now. Jungkook gently placing a hand on his belly, lips pressed into a line. Jungkook, we are going to the hospital. I'm not taking risk. Taehyung, it's just a small pain. Jungkook, a small pain could mean something big. Please, Tae, let me take care of you. This time, Taehyung looked into his eyes and saw sincerity. Hospital room, the doctor showed them. It was a stretch pain. Taehyung smiled, faded. Taehyung, then don't give me reasons to collapse again. Jungkook, I wouldn't. He reached for Taehyung's hand again. This time, Taehyung let him hold it. That night, bedroom, Taehyung stood in front of the mirror, wearing Jungkook's oversized shirt, gently brushing his hair. Jungkook stood at the door, watching Jungkook gently. You are beautiful. Taehyung turned, surprised. Jungkook, I never told you that, but I thought it every day. Taehyung softly. Then why didn't you say it when I needed to hear it? Jungkook, because I didn't think I deserved to say it. He walked in slowly. He stopped in front, few feet away. Jungkook, I still don't. Taehyung looked down. Taehyung, maybe I'm not ready to forgive you. Jungkook, that's okay. Taehyung, but I am tired of hating you. Jungkook, then let's start again. Taehyung looked up, and for once he didn't feel like running. 1 week later, soft evening, that the apartment was quiet, not cold anymore, just quiet. Taehyung stood near the open balcony window, and the wind brushing soft against his hair. The accent of jasmine floated through the air. The touch his slightly rounded belly and whispered, Taehyung, you are okay now? Aren't we? Jungkook, Taehyung turned slightly, watching Jungkook walk over with 2 mugs in hand. Jungkook, warm milk, no sugar. Taehyung surprised. You remembered. Jungkook placing the mug into his hand. Looking down shyly, Jungkook, I remember everything, even the little things. I just never knew how to show it before. Taehyung didn't reply, but he didn't turn away either. He looked up, voice softer than before. Taehyung, I'm fine. Jungkook turned to leave, but paused. Jungkook, do you want me to stay? Taehyung blinked his thought right. Taehyung, you mean sleep in the same room? Jungkook, just the couch or floor. I wouldn't cross your space. I just don't want to be far tonight. Taehyung looked at him for a moment, long moment, then quietly said, Taehyung, okay. Midnight, same room. Jungkook lay on the couch, staring at the ceiling. Taehyung tossed in the bed, unable to sleep. Taehyung, Jungkook, yeah? Taehyung, why now? Jungkook quietly, because I thought I had time to fix things later. But when I saw you in that hospital bed, I realized I didn't. Taehyung, you hurt me. Jungkook, I know. Taehyung, and I'm scared it will happen again. Jungkook turned his head towards the bed. Jungkook, then let me earn it day by day. No promises, just actions. Taehyung stayed quiet for a long time. Then whispered, Taehyung, I want to believe you. Morning kitchen, the sound of sizzling eggs and gentle humming filled the air. Taehyung blinked awake and smell of food. Jungkook wearing a cute cartoon apron. Kind of, don't judge me. Taehyung watching as Jungkook awkwardly flipped the pancake. It broke mid-air. Taehyung laughing. That's not a flip, that's an attack. Jungkook lunges. Jungkook, you're laughing. That's a win. Taehyung shook his head and came closer. Taehyung, let me help. Jungkook, nope, sit. You are royalty today. Taehyung sat down, a faint smile playing on his lips as he watched Jungkook make the ugliest pancake in history, but somehow they tasted perfect. Afternoon surprise room. After lunch, Jungkook led Taehyung to the spare room. Jungkook, I have been working on something. Taehyung, what is it? Jungkook opened the door. Taehyung's briefcase in his throat. It was a baby nursery. Half finished book, stuffed toys, tiny clothes hanging on the little rail, a soft cloud mobile above the crib. Jungkook, Taehyung, you picked this? Jungkook, yeah, I wasn't sure of the size or if you would like the color, but Taehyung tearing up, they are perfect. Jungkook stepped behind him, hesitated, then softly asked, Jungkook, can I touch you? Taehyung nodded. Jungkook warm hand landed gently on Taehyung's belly, and right then a small flutter appeared. Taehyung gasped. Jungkook shocked. Was that Taehyung? Yes. Jungkook's eyes welled up instantly. Jungkook, hi there, little one. It's Appa. Hi. His voice broke. Jungkook, I'm sorry I wasn't here earlier, but I will never leave again, I promise. Taehyung turned around slowly. Their faces were inches apart. Taehyung, don't make pancakes. Promises you can't keep. Jungkook, I wouldn't. Not anymore. Rainy evening. They sat together on the couch watching a drama on low volume. Taehyung leaned into against a pillow, eyes fluttering close. Suddenly, his head title landed softly against Jungkook's shoulder. Jungkook froze, then slowly, gently rested his head against Taehyung's. No words, just warmth. Later that night, bedroom. Jungkook came out of the bedroom, wiping his face when he saw Taehyung standing near the window, wearing soft cotton sleep wear. Jungkook can't sleep. Taehyung, turning with a quiet voice, asked, Taehyung, do you still want to sleep on the couch? Jungkook brows raised. Jungkook, do you want me here? Taehyung, yes. Jungkook swelled hard and walked over. He climbed into bed, unsure of how close to be. Taehyung turned on his side, facing away, then softly whispered, Taehyung, you can hold me if you want. Jungkook didn't move for a second, stunned, then gently he wrapped his arm around Taehyung's waist. His hand rested just under the curve of his belly. Taehyung sighed into the pillow. Taehyung, this feels safe. Jungkook, then I will never let it go. Taehyung didn't speak again, but he didn't pull away either, and Jungkook stayed. The next morning, gentle wake up, Soft sunlight poured into the room. Jungkook stood awake to the softest sound, Taehyung's laughter. He opened his eyes to find Taehyung holding a small stuffed bunny against his stomach, talking to it in a baby voice. Taehyung, Appa, Jungkook is asleep. Bear, isn't he? Look at him, he's snoring like a dragon. Jungkook groggily groaned playfully. Jungkook, you talk about me like I'm not here. Taehyung, laughing because you sleep like a dead. Jungkook rolled his eyes, wrapping his arm around Taehyung and nuzzled to his neck. Jungkook, I like waking up like this. Taehyung, me too. Then, after a long pause, Taehyung, I think I'm ready to forgive you. Jungkook breathed catch. Jungkook, Taehyung, but it's not because I forget. It's because I see that you stayed. Jungkook, I will keep staying every day, forever. He smiled softly, and this time he turned around, cupped Jungkook's cheek, and kissed him gently. Then, hope you enjoyed it. Let me know how was it for you. Bye bye.